Well, some time well spent on good old ground. Well, welcome to Finding America. It's really nice to see you here. Well, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all of you. Now, this week's detecting got cut quite a bit short. Chris wasn't feeling very good. He was a bit under the weather. And I was faced by a very unexpected family emergency. And as a result, I only had about 3.5 hours to metal detect total. But by the end of it, it kind of felt like a little minor Christmas miracle, as I ended up finding quite a bit and enough for this week's video. So what to do when you just have a short amount of time to metal detect? Well, the first thing I like to do is head to proven ground, good old ground. And the next thing is digging it all and trying to dig as many targets as I possibly can. Now, this often works out for me, and it did this time as well. I found a lot of interesting things, and one thing that I've been hoping to find for a very long time. I really hope you enjoy watching this one. Well, after days and days of rain, we have a gorgeous day today. In the 50s and a blue sky. And I just said, you know, I'm gonna go back to one of my favorite permissions, old mansion on the hill. And yeah, when you're digging here, you dig everything because there's so much history in the ground here. And even the big iron signals are interesting. I was getting a 13 right here and dug down and I got this. It's hard to say what that went to exactly. It's pretty heavy duty, but it's a neat piece that I thought you might want to see. Pretty cool. Well, this one was giving me a 14, and you can see I have something down there. Now, I've been cleaning it up a little bit, but it's actually pretty cool. It's an old collar stud. That would have been used in the late 1800s to about the late 1920s, early 30s, when they used to wear the paper collars. And it's pretty cool. I don't see any markings on it yet, but that's always a nice find. You can see some of the original gold plating coming through though. So very happy with that, and nice period piece. And today I'm working with the small coil. There's a lot of iron, a lot of old nails, and stuff on the property. So I enjoy using the small coil. And I got a nice little signal here. It's give me a 13. Nothing crazy, but kind of cool. It's an old 410 shell, and it's an early Peters. Let me see if I can get you up on this here. The lighting is odd here. But if you notice, it has a big P and that goes over the center there, and that's going to date from the 20s into the 30s, so right around that era. Yeah, it's a nice old Peter shell right here. Well, this time I was getting a 16. That was about 3 inches down. I recognized it right away. I wiped it off a little bit, but it's an old part to an old toy cap gun, the hammer. So another neat little piece, and probably from the 50s into the 60s. But I always enjoy finding cap gun parts because when I was young, I never left home without one. Well, down here at the bottom of the property, because they just took out a whole row of hedges and grapevines down here, and it's a little bit of ground I haven't been over before, but I just found something I find a lot of down in this bottom part. They did a lot of shooting back in the 1800s down here, and I got a real nice lead pistol ball. It's pretty cool. Just wanted to show you that. But got a little signal, look down, saw something sitting on top of the ground just like that. Now I cleaned it up a little bit, but I wanted to show you what it looked like when I saw it. It's some kind of an old button or snap, and it says United Car, I think, C-A-R-R. Get you in on it here. So that gives me something to look up and maybe date. It's probably going to be 40s. I'm not really sure, but it's just a company I've never heard of before. Well, while I was detecting the mansion grounds, I looked down and I saw a neighbor sitting on his porch down below. So I headed over, and after talking to him a bit, I got permission to metal detect his property. Now, the thing about his property is that it sits right next to another permission that I have. And back in the day, at the turn of the century, there was a big house that actually sat on both properties. So after getting that permission, I couldn't resist. I just had to head down there and see just what I might find. Well, I was going along here and I pulled out a big bent pipe, but by removing that, I went over to the left and I got a real nice 34 high tone, and I was like, woohoo! But check out what came out of the ground. I'll tell you, wasn't expecting this. It's some kind of a faceplate. Now, my first thought was like a car dashboard, but I'm really thinking that this is the front plate to an old radio. One of those upright stand-up radios, and look at the Art Deco design on it. How cool is that? It's just awesome. And you can even see like the little pointer down here, so that would have kind of showed you the position of the dial when you were dialing a station in, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I don't see any markings on it yet, but is that not awesome? That's going to be like 20s or 30s, I would imagine. Yeah, I love it. That is such a cool piece. Now this spot is actually where I was in the beginning of last week's episode before I got chased out by the rain, and I'd found that trade stimulator token over here and the Model T valve stem over there. So I'm back over here, and I'm trying up a little further, and I just got that faceplate on the radio, and this signal was giving me an 18. I dug down and I got this, and it's got 3 mounting holes. It's almost like a cup. It's kind of pop metal. It's not the best quality metal, but I have no idea what that is. But I thought, hey, what the heck, maybe, just maybe, it'll be a mystery find. I don't know. I'll get it cleaned up, see what it looks like, but pretty cool little piece. I just found that sort of mystery find. I checked the hole once more. I was getting a 14 just off to the side. So I went ahead and opened the hole up, and I got some type of a finial. It's pretty cool. And it could be a knob to like some type of small drawer as well. But old and brass, and pretty darn cool. Well, that's kind of a cool little thing. It's giving me a 12, really deep, about 11 inches, and I finally got it out. And it's most of a railroad spike. It's missing the top, but I'll tell you what, as a lot of you that watch my channel know, it gives me a great excuse for a very cool train picture. And I think I have just the right train picture for this time of year. Well, I was still getting a decent signal down in the hole, and I fished it out. Nothing special, but I wanted to show it to you in case you dig one of these up. And don't know what they are, but this is an old iron spring for an old wood clothespin for hanging up the clothes. So just thought I'd show you that one. These will give you a good signal sometimes. This is kind of interesting. I was getting a 15 about 8 inches down, finally popped it out. I thought it was just going to be some kind of junk metal, but it's pretty cool. A pretty neat design on it. Kind of clamshell, but floral up here. Very thin stamped metal. Not sure exactly what that was, but it's definitely old. And it's definitely cool. I definitely like this one. Well, I was getting a nice 13 right here, pulled a big piece of junk out, checked the hole again, and there was still a 12 in there. And check it out, there was a nickel hiding under that big piece of trash. And it's kind of an early Jefferson. It's 1947, hopefully you can see it there. So, yep, just after World War II. So very cool. I always enjoy finding the early Jeffersons. I just had to laugh when I saw this in the hole. It's giving me a 24, kind of a high tone, and dug down. I think I know what this is. I think this is some, oh, let me see. It's some kind of snowman. Frosty the Snowman, oh my gosh. Well, that was pretty good timing, since I still have a couple weeks. Oh, check that out. It's Old Avon. In 1974, some kind of fragrance, or it's weird. I don't know if it's hinged right there, if this, I don't know. I have to look that up and see what it was, but there you go. We got Frosty just in time for Christmas. Well, this one was giving me a scratchy 2122. A lot of nails in here. I kept going after it, and I finally saw something round pop out. And yep, it's an old weedy, but I always like seeing them. And this one's 1946, the year after World War II, and the year a lot of GI Bills were being used. Well, just keep digging it all. This one's giving me 18, 19. Sometimes I'd hit a little high tone, but I dug down, and this is what it is. I cleaned it off. It's definitely an old piece of brass, some kind of linkage or lever, but sorry about the traffic noise. This place is always loud. But I always dig cool things here, so I just can't keep away. Well, I've got a big 12 signal, and I knew it was going to be big iron again, and sure enough, that's what I ended up getting. But it's pretty cool. It's probably a piece to an old fireplace or stove, and old cast iron. So another old piece from this spot. Well, I think I got something pretty cool here. Ringing up like 28, and I was like, ooh, maybe a quarter, maybe a dime. It was 8 inches down, and I just had to fish it from under a root, and it just finally popped out. Look at that big sucker. And I can see a little shank on the back, so I'm thinking, I have not looked, haven't turned it over. I'm thinking either great seal. I don't know why it's in my head, but Chris found one, and I've always wanted to find one. He found an old World War I Marines coat button. So let's see. It's almost like one dime game. Dude, I swear to gosh. I swear I did not look at this. It just... it's so weird. Okay, you guys are going to think I peeked at it, but I did not. And look at this. I can already tell it's... See the eagle up there, and it's a Marines button. And it's just so insane. Oh, I swear on my... It's just crazy. I don't know why. I just thought of that when I saw it sitting in the hole. Let me get it sprayed. I cannot believe I finally got one. And Chris isn't here. He's a little under the weather. But it was one of the very first times Chris and I ever went out hunting together, and he found one of these. And I was like, oh man, I want one. And it took me, what, 3 years, 4 years? I got one. Let me get this sprayed off. I'll show you why I wanted one so bad. These are beautiful. Well, there you go. Now you see why I've always wanted one. They are just gorgeous. Oh, well, that had to be the most miraculous call ever. I don't know, maybe it's something the way it looked. I don't know. It just made me think of the Marine button. I actually thought it was great seal at first. I thought, well, maybe it might be. That would be cool. And it's got a back mark on the back. I'll have to look at it, but definitely World War One. And it's not just a coat button. This is the great coat button. This would have been their big, heavy winter coat, and with a big, massive button. I mean, it's a big, big button. Between $1.25 and $1.50 size. Very happy with that. Well, I really hope you enjoyed watching this one. I was so thrilled to get that Marine button. And I'm definitely going to be heading back to that old mansion as well as that other property where that old house once stood. Now, here's another look at everything I was able to recover in those 3.5 hours. Well, I know I sorely need these, and I hope you enjoy seeing them as well. And here are some amazing American Christmas images from days gone by. And remember, it's history that makes a find a treasure. And I can't wait to see you back here next week on Finding America.